Hi guys, it's Nicole and I'm back today with another project featuring simple stories, simple vintage fresh snow. This collection is gorgeous. However, I live in southern Nevada and I've mentioned in previous videos I've experienced snow once every, say, 10 years. The majority of us that kind of live in this area, if we want to experience snow, we take a drive to southern Utah, a couple like mountain areas near us. We can kind of go play in snow, but not like a ski resort or anything like that. So I reached out to a couple family members and my sister was able to send me some cute pictures of my nephew playing in the snow at like a local little mountain area that we have here. We haven't been for a couple years, so after she sent me these photos, now I'm kind of like itching to take the drive out there soon while there's still snow and get some of my own pictures. But for now, I am not hurting by using his pictures because he's just so stinking cute. So as far as my layout, I pulled one of the like basic cardstocks in this tan color. And originally I thought that that was gonna kind of be my base. I had a little bit of, not a hard time getting started. I just found myself constantly going back and looking through. It was like every time I looked through, I found something else that was catching my eye. And then I thought I was gonna do like lean towards a lot of the browns. And then I kept going back and finding some of these pale blues. And I was just sort of all over the place. And knowing that I was all over the place with pattern papers that I was liking, one of my solutions is to just kind of pick a design principle or technique or something that allows for lots of small pieces of pattern paper. So in this instance, I took the 6x8 paper pad and I just started cutting a bunch of 1-inch wide strips. With this being a 6x8 paper pad, that 8-inch height for me is just a really good like span across a layout to where I think I printed my photos. I have one as a 4x6 and one as a 3x4. It might be a little bit bigger than that. It's gonna still allow me to see all those patterns, but also kind of have the focus just be on these awesome pictures. I did change my photos to black and white, mostly just because he was wearing this cute hat that is bright yellow, and I usually don't care if my photos don't match, but between the yellow of his hat and I think his little hoodie that he's wearing is like red Mickey Mouse, I just really wanted, like, especially that picture of just him to kind of just pop off of all of this, so I switched everything to black and white, printed it out, and I was in love. So I cut way more strips than I needed because, like I said, I kept kind of changing the tone overall of like what colors I was leaning towards with all of these strips. And I just kept going back and forth. There's so many good patterns. They all really mix and match well with each other. So many good like plaids. I couldn't make up my mind. Finally, I ended up just grabbing a sheet of white cardstock to kind of pull in some of the white from my photos. I did some simple hand stitching across the top and bottom of those strips. And then I'm gonna just kind of go ham and start playing with all the embellishments. I did go ahead and matte my photos. I feel like I'm kind of 50-50 on when I matte something and when I don't matte something. In this instance, I knew I was going to be tucking a lot of stuff like behind them, so I really wanted the photos to still stand on their own and be like really prominent and just kind of catching your eye. So I chose to do just a thin border of some white cardstock. I like to use scraps when I do that, and then I pulled out the blue version of those basics. And I'm gonna go ahead and matte both of these on there as well. This was kind of when I was starting to figure out what, which title pieces did I want to use, what colors did those kind of pull, and kind of just trying to find an overall like plan forward. Some of these pieces like kept catching my eye. I've said this before. I think I struggle a little bit more when I'm playing with a new collection because there's so many options, and I tend to get more creative and more decisive the further I cut into a collection because I've used some stuff, I've played with it before. So at the beginning of a collection is typically when I am just overwhelmed by how much good stuff there is, and I'm not 100% sure, you know, what I want the end result to be. And so that's when I end up just spending a lot of time sorting through. I try different things. I really wanted to use that little deer. I kept going back to the die cut pack where they're almost like printed clusters, and I absolutely loved the look of them. I took one of these really big ones and ended up cutting it into 3 sections and tucking it into kind of like a visual triangle behind my photos. And I went back and forth so many times with so many different titles of what I wanted to use. I kept going back to some of the phrases that were in the foam stickers, settled on Winter Wonderland. I really liked the font of the Wonderland and kind of how wide it was to have it be able to touch both photos and kind of go off into that white space area. And then I'm back to looking at all of the things. There are so many pieces, and I love that because usually within these die cut packs you can kind of find almost like miniature themes where you're gonna have some stuff that leans more with the browns and has more of like the nature elements with like the little bloom cluster things and the pineapples, pine cones, and different things. There was stuff that was leaning more towards like coffee and hot cocoa and like mittens and hats and just kind of being cozy and more like indoors. So for me, I tend to kind of just take an overall look of everything and kind of figure out what's in there and what do I think is going to work best for my topic. So I chose a lot of outdoor type of elements because they were outdoors, and a lot of this stuff reminds me of the park that they were at. I've done some family photography sessions out there, so I kind of knew what was going on in the background, even though the background is not the like subject matter. And then what I like to do when I come in with some of these smaller elements is I like to mix up the size, the color, and the dimensions. So I'll pick some stuff that's flat from the sticker sheet, some stuff that's flat from the die cut packs, and then I like to mix in the more dimensional versions of those same icons from the foam sticker pack. And I just go in and pick the things that I am kind of more drawn to, especially with a collection like this where I know I'm not going to have a ton of kind of chances to use it unless I sort of go make myself find snow to go take pictures in. It's not going to be like a natural event for us. So knowing that I'll probably use this maybe 1 to 3 times, every time I use it, I'm going to make sure that I'm using those favorite pieces, those favorite icons, those favorite elements, because I would rather them live in my album instead of saving them for a quote-unquote perfect opportunity later when the opportunity right now is perfect. This is one that I chose to not do any journaling on. It's not really my story to tell. These are just cute pictures of my little nephew, and I will decide later if this is going to end up in my album, or I may ask my sister if she wants me to get a frame and she can take it home if she wants to. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some inspiration, and if you have any questions, leave them down below for me. I thank you if you have made it this far into the video, and if you're not subscribed, I'd love for you to join my channel and hopefully find more inspiration, and hopefully YouTube will suggest you some more things here. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully I will catch you next time.